Hi everybody, it's your digital technology librarian Christy here with you, once again ready to bring you another set of film recommendations. As always, these come from our three digital video services. Those are CleveNet Overdrive, Hoopla Digital, and Canopy. So without further ado, let's get started. This week I wanted to focus in on uh, odd or interesting documentaries. A lot of times, of course, you see fantastic documentaries about nature and history on PBS, but I kind of wanted to try and look at some titles that were maybe off the beaten path a little bit. Um, and so our first couple come from CleveNet Overdrive. The first one might be a topic that's familiar to people who have seen the Netflix TV series Glow. Glow, of course, is talking about the gorgeous ladies of wrestling. So there was this premier first all women pro wrestler group, and there's actually a documentary that covers these women, and it's really interesting how this organization developed, the kind of characters and personas they put together, the difficulties they were facing at the time. So the documentary really covers the true story behind that, which of course you can also see a fictionalized version of that in the TV series. But it's a really fun one. If you've watched one, then definitely, if you've watched the TV series, definitely give the documentary a try, just for comparison. But if you haven't watched the TV series, still check out the documentary. It really is a fascinating period in sort of the performative sport of wrestling, just because it's a kind of interesting take on, what at that time until that time had been a male dominated sport. So definitely check it out. Glow. It's not rated and it's about an hour long, so it's not a super long watch. The second title I wanted to recommend on CleveNet Overdrive is called A League of Ordinary Gentlemen. Now, this one follows four professional bowlers. I don't personally know anything about bowling other than there are 10 pins and you want to hit all of them. But this one sort of goes into a little bit of the atmosphere of the sport. It had been super popular at one point, but then the popularity started to wane. And these four bowlers actually hired a sort of marketing professional guru who had at that time been working for Nike, in order to sort of turn around the image and popularity of the sport. Uh, it's very interesting to see the individual athletes as they go about their daily lives and how they approach their own lanes, because they're all from different points in their careers. So you have people who are very, very successful, people who are just starting out, people whose popularity and success are starting to wane. Uh, but A League of Ordinary Gentlemen is definitely something out of my usual viewing pattern. So I really enjoyed it. It is rated R, kind of the language at times gets a little bit dicey, but it's excellent. So if you're interested in seeing something a little bit off the beaten path, A League of Ordinary Gentlemen is definitely one to try. Now, for Hoopla digital titles, I know we have a ton of people who are fans of birds and bird watching. If you are one of those people, you 100% need to check out Birders, The Central Park Effect. It's an absolutely beautiful documentary that covers the Central Park area in New York and how it's become this sort of haven for all different species of birds. Within this one park, there are tons of different areas that make it a hotspot for rare birds, more common birds, but it's perfect to be able to sort of see many different kinds and species of them within one smallish area. It also interviews a lot of the community of bird watchers there. Different places that they go within that park to see different species, but it sort of traces their own history of bird watching there. So it covers a lot of different themes that people might be interested in. And it's also just really cool to see so many different species of birds filmed in general. They are really beautiful creatures, and I thought it was a wonderful way to see all of them and sort of combine different themes all together. So Birders, The Central Park Effect, definitely a must watch. And the other one I wanted to recommend on Hoopla is called Love Between the Covers. And this one sort of traces the romance fiction industry as a whole. So this industry, it's $1 billion industry every year. But it's made up of so many different subgenres within it. It traces how these different subgenres developed and became popularized. It interviews tons of different authors that are huge names that people who are fans will definitely recognize. And it just sort of looks at these books, not just as genre fiction, but just popular fiction in general. I know that everybody has different views on genre fiction in general, but this one really sort of looks at it from an outside perspective without putting that stigma on it. So it was really interesting to watch, and I loved seeing authors I'm familiar with, authors whose work I'm familiar with, talk about it in the way that they did. So definitely recommended for anybody who is interested in how the publishing industry works. This one sort of, because romance is a genre fiction piece, they developed all of these different conventions and other ways to promote it to sort of pull back on the stigma. And it's just really, really fascinating. So Love Between the Covers, also very much recommended. Now, finally, we get to Canopy, which is sort of the mecca of documentaries. If you are a fan, you absolutely have to check out their catalog. There's so many phenomenal ones on there, from little known new titles to classics to Academy Award winners. So the first one I want to talk about actually is the documentary that got me to dive back into watching documentaries in the first place. It's called Kedi, The Cats of an Ancient City. And it follows a number of cats throughout Istanbul that are neither stray cats precisely nor house cats. Culturally, traditionally, the citizens of Istanbul will take care of these street cats together as a community. So the cat doesn't belong to one person, but actually to everyone. And they've done the documentary in such a way that each of these cats have such personality and have such strong ties with the multiple people that care for them that each one is like this separate chapter in a novel. It's really interesting, just how strongly these developed characters come to life. And it's 100% a documentary. These are real cats and real people who just take care of them. But it watches like a standard fictional film. So if you are a fan of cats, if you are interested in unique ways of storytelling, please do check out Kedi, The Cats of an Ancient City. It's definitely one of my favorite documentaries that I'm recommending this week. A slightly sillier one that I really, really enjoyed as well is called Chicken People, A Peek into the Lives of Professional Show Chickens. I did not actually know that there were show chickens, and I'm someone who, showed rabbits at fairs and things. But these show chickens are amazing, amazing creatures. They are primped and pampered just like dogs from dog shows or cats at cat shows, and the people who care for them are such interesting characters as well. And it follows several competitors in the chicken show circuit, and it's funny but not in a way that makes fun of the people precisely. It's just really kind of a heartwarming, amusing little documentary that I recommend strongly if you want something to smile about, and if you definitely want something that's a topic that's off the beaten path. Chicken People is 100% it. So I do hope people will check that one out just for a giggle and to have a good time. And my last recommendation from Canopy right now is called The Pollinators. And this one, of course, follows the topic of honeybees and their bee caretakers. It really touches on a lot of extremely important topics within the world of bees right now. And it's dramatic and really fascinating, and it'll definitely teach you things that you might not ever have even thought about when it comes to bees and the people who take care of them. And we do have a ton of beekeepers in the area. So please do give it a watch just to sort of learn a little bit more about the culture of it. Really, really interesting documentary in general. So that's just a really, really quick set of recommendations for this week. I love documentaries, and I hope that you'll check these out. You know, even if you're not a big documentary fan, generally, I did try and pick things that were very much not what people generally will think of, and had tones that are a little bit different as well. So please do check these out. As always, if you ever have any questions or if you want to make your own recommendations, please comment and let everybody know what you're watching. And with that, I hope everybody has a great weekend, and hopefully we'll see you soon. Bye.